Okay, this is part one of how to replace your fuel pump that's in your fuel tank on a 1998 Dodge half-ton with a 360. And I think they started putting fuel pumps in the 90s, around 94, in the fuel tank. So you can look up your vehicle to see if it's the same way. First thing I did is I pulled out this pop-out bed liner. The instructions say to drop the fuel tank, so I'm doing it Mike style, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Some mechanics lift the bed, and that's a big pain. So what I decided to do is take the Sawzall and cut a hole in my bed. And here's the measurements. So if you want to do the same thing, this is a half-ton truck with a 360, and there's the fuel pump. So if you measure from the very edge of your tailgate, right over here, to the flat part, I started cutting, I drilled a pilot hole with a Unibit, works great, at 15 inches. Then I drilled another pilot hole at 31 inches. Then I drilled another one from the back, or from the front of the tailgate to the back. I measured 12 inches. There's another pilot hole. Okay, then I measured from the front over here another 12 inches. There's a pilot hole. And then I got my straight edge and I cut the hole. And the hole is 16 inches wide and a foot this away. So it's 16 inches from side to side and a foot from here to there. So the dimensions, you might be able to see it on the video. It shows you the 15 inches from the side of the bed to there, 31 over there, and then from the front of the bed to the back is 12 inches. And if you look, you know, I had to cut into a little brace here. It was kind of a load-bearing thing for the bed, but it's okay because I'm not hauling gravel or heavy rock in this truck, and I'll put the bed liner back over it and everything will be fine. And it did weaken right here, the bed, a little bit, but that's okay because, again, I'm not standing 20 people in the back of my truck all day. So what I'm going to do next is, and I'm going to take, on part two, I'll show you the old fuel pump. This is the original. I'm fixing to take that out. And I'm going to use some type of rubber twist deal, so I don't have to, I might have to tap this with a chisel or something, but I have one of those oil puller belts that might it might be big enough to go around there, so you might try that. And I bought the new fuel pump from A-Line. It was $239. You probably can't see that, before tax, and the instructions, of course, say to drop the fuel tank. Well, I just filled the fuel tank up. So this is where you can see more videos about modifying your bed of your truck to change your fuel pump, frytv.com. And here's the new fuel pump assembly. It's got the fuel gauge rheostat right here, and the fuel pump's down inside this plastic housing, and it's got everything is new. So this is OEM stuff here, it's not aftermarket. So I'll give you part two of this video and show you how it goes, but it looks like it's going to pull out just fine, and now I will not have this problem of having to lift my bed or drop the tank to replace a fuel pump. I suggest Chevy, Chrysler, or Ford, if they're still putting fuel pumps in the tanks like this, to put a trap door so we can do this type of stuff and not put it so far front to the cab here to where it's where if you did have to cut into it, you have to cut into this support here of the bed. Another thing you got to keep in mind when you're pulling this pump, it's kind of hard to see on this video, there's an arrow, there's a green mark right there, and then there's two plastic tabs right here. You want to make sure that when you put the new pump in, this same arrow right here on this new pump lines up with where this arrow is right there. So keep in mind when you're pulling that out, you're going to want to put this and tighten it the same spot pretty much, and have it line up there, because it has a lot to do with the way the fuel gauge works, I'm assuming. It would be the only reason why you'd have to do that in a sense. So there you go. Part two is coming up after this, and part two I will show you the old fuel pump. And I think the old style, instead of having this sock here. It has a filter, and that's what clogs up on a lot of these older style. I'm not sure. I'll find out. That'll be on part 2. So there you go. That's the update on my Dodge Ram. And hopefully the second video I can show you the truck firing up, because it will not start now. You can see more videos like this on frytv.com.